Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems and YouTube. Join Mary Ann Faremouth on today's show.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, a division of Authors Marketing International, an organization that supports and promotes writers and authors all over the world. My name is Mary Ann Faremouth. I'm a multi-genre author. And today I am just thrilled to have with us a true icon in his field. Michael Lutin has been an astrologer for many, many years. He was an astrology columnist for Vanity Fair magazine for 25 years. He's spoken before the Harvard Business School alumni and at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C. In addition to lectures, workshops, and seminars internationally, he is the author of 4 musical plays and 4 books, including Sunshines and The Astrology of Being Happy, all of which are Amazon bestsellers. And without further ado, help me introduce the astrologer to the stars in New York City, Michael Lutin. Michael, welcome so much to our program.
Wow, that sounds so great. I'm overwhelmed with that, and I repeat that.
You know it's all true, and I'm thrilled to have him with us because I want to say maybe 10 years ago, I attended one of his lectures, and it was just amazing. And although he's so famous and he's so well known and well respected, he has this human element about him that's just so genuine. So we're thrilled to have you with us. But tell us for all our listeners out there, all our authors out there, all our writers, how did you get started? I know you grew up in Paris and that kind of was part of your journey, but tell us a little bit about how you got started, Michael.
I think I got my deep start the way many people do. I reached a crisis in the road. And it was a serious crisis. I had thrown away a lot of opportunities that were not right for me anyway. And I remember there was a big dinner for Phi Beta Kappa people, and I was one of the people who had been inducted, but I didn't even go to the dinner. I was already beginning to deviate. And then I reached a serious crisis in my life, and I realized something greater had to be there, greater than me. So I began reading about it, and I thought, this can't be. Must be some guy in India made up all this stuff. And then I realized, I read something. I set up my own chart. I taught myself how to do all the math, and there was something in that chart. I looked at it, and I thought, nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. And that was the point that I realized that something was going on here that I had to pursue, and I never got out. I always said, I made the joke for years that astrology was like the Roach Motel. You check in, but you never check out. That was my motto for years, because when I saw that I couldn't reject it, a friend of mine said, either take this and go with it or stop it, but don't dance around it. So that's how I got really involved in it. And the deeper I went, the deeper I wanted to go.
Well, that's amazing. What a beautiful story. And as a career coach, as a career, consultant, I think that there's so much to be said about how you got into what you got into. I think sometimes, in our, darkest moments, we're able to see the stars, no pun intended. But anyway, I think sometimes, it is those challenging times in our life that force us to look within. I wanted to ask you, I know that I've read different things, that astrology is a predictive science or an art. What do you consider it to be? Is it both?
I'm working on a writing project now called Incarnation, Incarnation, Relevance, Revelation, and the horoscope.
Wow.
I'm giving a 3-hour workshop in Mexico that'll be on Zoom this weekend, which is Halloween Day, Sunday morning of Halloween. And I'm also giving a supplementary workshop, which is 3 hours in San Francisco, all on Zoom, which, by the way, I hate because I like to be in the room. I like the bodies. I like the feedback. I like the people.
Yeah.
In fact, that's the name of my that's the name of my, what do you call them? My memoirs that I've been writing for 100 years because I never finish it. But it's called I Love Them All.
Yeah.
Because all the people that I work with, my clients, the other astrologers, I love everybody. And that's the great thing about what I do. But I believe that it's part neurochemical. And that means that there are hormones are involved in the communication between people and the stars. And also there's a spiritual dimension that we cannot, no matter how we try, we cannot deny it. Mm-hmm. So there's a physical dimension and a spiritual dimension, and they must be taken together. And for what I do, that's what I try to do. And I also have been trained as a psychoanalyst. I've been trained as a communicative psychoanalytic psychotherapist by Dr. Robert Lang. It's a great mind of him. And he was my teacher for 25 years, longer than Vanity Fair, actually. So I believe that there's a definite psychological component to when the first 5 years of your life in this earth. So I always look at the first 5 years, what happened, and how it's either blessed you or scarred you. And I think there's a chemical message that is sent out by the planets and to the planet. We have a cooperation in communication with the planets. I think that's what's happening. So I think that there's that. And then there is the dimension that we don't know, wow, this thing is working.
Yeah. Well, I think
it's working.
It's working. Well, the fact that you help so many people is just so amazing. And let's take a break right now and let our sponsors do their thing, and we'll come right back.
Thank you.
Mary Ann Faremouth is a career consultant with 30 years experience in the national recruiting world, a multi-award-winning author in multi-genres, and a speaker that gives presentations to help you succeed. Her book, Revolutionary Recruiting, made the top 20 global list of recruiting books. Find her on Amazon, your favorite bookstore, or at Fairmount.com.
To embrace your children's imagination, check out Diane Floyd Bame's books for kids. There's The Moonling Adventures, all about the animals in the Serengeti. And then there's Harry the Camel, learning to love yourself just the way you are. Then The Little Girl in the Moon. There's one about friendship, another one about the big ideas, which is an inspirational story. And then Tour Tycho Town, right there in Tycho Crater on the moon. All of Diane Floyd Bame's books are available at B4R Store.
Hello, I am the author Denise Bryson. My first book is The Things That Cross My Mind, Inspirational Poetry with Life Lessons. And then my audio book is Love's Reality. And it is also inspirational poetry with a jazzy flair. And then my new book is The Sex, the Lies, and the Soul Ties. They're really short stories written from a poetic expression. And then I have my first children book series, the Blinky series, which the first book is called Meet the Coins, and it is both in English and Spanish. And then the new book, From Coins to Bills. I am the author, Denise Bryson.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems and YouTube. Join Mary Ann Faremouth on today's show.
Welcome back to the Indie Beacon Show, a division of Authors Marketing International, an organization that represents and supports authors all over the world. My name is Mary Ann Faremouth. I have the pleasure of being the host on this episode today with the none other, iconic, amazing Michael Lutin. Michael, welcome back to Indie Beacon. We're so happy to have you back. We were having this wonderful discussion about the integrative dimensions of astrology and how so many things work together to help you in your predictive analysis. And, I'm a rookie in this whole area. I've studied a little bit. I can't even say I'm dangerous, but it's always fascinating to me. And with all the different things going on in the world, Michael,
Oh,
is there some planetary transitory effect right now that we can attribute to some of these things, Michael?
yeah, very, very definitely. And it's the simplest way to describe it is that this is a Pluto transit. Pluto takes roughly 250 years to go around the zodiac. So Pluto is now where it was when they signed the Declaration of Independence. So this is either the end of an empire or the transformation of an empire. But we can't escape the fact that everyone on Earth, and probably elsewhere, but everyone on Earth is experiencing the trauma, and it's like the agony of birth. Everyone on Earth is experiencing a battle between good and evil. That would be easy if everybody would get on one side or the other. But the effect of this transit of Pluto blurs the definition of both evil and good. And we are fighting what we think is evil. You might not think is evil. So there's a battle going on, probably involving alien intelligence as well, I believe. But this particular aspect of the transit of Pluto, which is now full-blown and started in 2006. Well, I wrote a piece for Vanity Fair that they didn't want to publish at the last minute. It was called Horoscope USA. And they didn't want to publish it, but my agent said, call them back and tell them to take out your column. So I did, and they did. Oops, I'm sorry. iPod slipped. I apologize because we're having a little technical difficulty tonight. They printed it, and it's still on their website today because all the things that I said about Horoscope USA, what I thought was going to happen, is and are happening, did in fact happen and are still happening. So that brought me a lot of publicity and still on their website. It's brought me a lot of greater respect in astrology that I could even say those things, which was not happening at all in 2006. But it is happening, that we're all involved in something we can't run away from. And people are, I notice a lot of people are moving from city to city. They're restless. They think they want to go someplace where it's safe. But there is no place that it's safe because this is something internal in all of us. Each human being, no matter where you come from, is confronting himself or herself and seeking new relevance in a world that's new, that they never expected to be living in. And there's a battle going on. There really is.
Is there a period when all of this will be over and finished and done, Michael? Or how much long? I mean, will this go on for a long time, or are we coming near the end, or what?
The thing is, it's going on for a long time because it's a process. It's not like Tuesday it'll be over. It's not like that. It's a transformational progress. You can't say to a butterfly, how long did it take you? Because the process of transformation is in fact the process, and people, you have to yield to it when there's a Pluto transit, which there is now. In the beginning, you don't answer the door when it knocks. Then it retrogrades and it knocks a little louder. And you answer, no está nadie en la casa. And the third time it happens, the third time it turns direct and goes over your planets, you're toast. And so you have to deal with right now the conflict that each one of us is facing, and that is the death anxiety that plagues us all. And in order to be able to do that, you can't be afraid of what's going on. Fear is the mind killer. And you have to meet what's going on, and it's sometimes hell, sometimes not. Sometimes the end of a relationship, sometimes the end of a career. But you always look at a Pluto transit as if it's a tall, featureless wall of onyx that there's no way to get by or get over or get under or go through. but it demands complete surrender of every human being on some level. And it's not always what you think, but everybody has to surrender, not to what you think, because it sounds scary. You have to surrender to your greatest moment of courage and bravery. And if you do that, you get through fine. I mean, I've had Pluto transits. I know how scary it is and how tragic it seems.
But it's kind of like the phoenix from the ashes, isn't it? That if you surrender, then you can come above and rise above in a way that is even a better version, right? Or no? It's
like burying something or someone or someone's ashes. You have to walk down that walk proudly and courageously and put them in the ocean and know that the ocean is our mother and that we are going through something that we cannot escape. There's no way to move to California or Arizona or the Fiji Islands. It gets you there because this is a worldwide attempt at transformation. Some of it is scary, some of it we don't want.
Okay. All right, let's talk about, okay. What about some of your, okay, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
What about some of your books? Tell us about your books. I know I've read one of your books, Sunshines. That one was about the nodes, wasn't it? Sunshine.
That's a book about the nodes, and that's my most recent book. I've told you I'm working on these other writing projects. It's supposed to be one of my memoirs, but I'm not ready to finish my memoirs. I love them all. I've been working on that, and I've been working on the agony of rebirth, which is the Pluto transit that we're all sharing. And then also some straight astrology book of planetary transits and how they affect our life. Because in life, I found that nothing is forgotten and everything is remembered. So even the things that we try to bury, they are really not forgotten. And bringing them to the surface is what liberates people. That's my job. My job is to help people embrace the things that they may not realize, the talents they may not realize they have. Mm-hmm. Because everybody needs something new. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I do. You do.
Oh, yes.
But we don't know exactly what the next step, because we have to surrender so it unfolds. And that's scary.
Uh-huh. Jupiter, tell me, isn't Jupiter next year going to go into Pisces? Isn't that a transit that might be a positive one, or am I not reading it correctly? That means nothing?
No, Jupiter is the anesthetic that everyone needs.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I think we're all ready for a little.
Yeah, and it's the necessary break in the frame that we've set up, because now it's all over. Come out, everybody, it's okay. But people need encouragement now. They need bravery and they need encouragement. And the encouragement cannot be some blind, stupid thing, is everything's going to be all right, don't cry. The thing is that this demands your utter patience and bravery, courage. If you let it scare you, it's going to get you. But you have the courage not to be scared by it, to be able to walk right up to it and say, you don't scare me. It won't get you, because it doesn't like love. It likes fear.
Well, I think we're all ready for a little benefic planetary influence and some positive, mindfulness and all that in our lives going forward with all we've been through the last 18 months. So let's hope that maybe 2022 might be a little bit better. Yes?
If you love the people next to you, it's going to be great.
Okay.
The thing is that love, it sounds maybe wishy-washy, but love and forgiveness, part of Jupiter in Pisces, is a healing factor that can't be dismissed. I know somebody who was told she had 3 months to live. This is someone I know personally. And everybody came on a pilgrimage to say goodbye to their Aunt Matilda. And they all were crying. Everybody cried by the bedside. 7 years later, she went down the Grand Canyon on a mule. And they were all dead. So the thing is, you got to look it right in the eye and say, okay, bring it on, baby. I can take it.
All right. So we do have the ability to understand the transits and the influence. I mean, as above, so below, but we also have the strength and courage to go forward and work through it.
That's our only hope. Our only hope is a strength and courage to use astrology at the highest level and to interpret the planetary motion on the highest level, because it can be, everything could be scary. But fear is the worst thing that you can do now. And courage is the strength and the antidote to everything that's wrong. I promise I believe that that's right. And that's what I'm trying to do. But not try to tell people how to face the worst. It's not it. It's how to be able to face the ultimate change in your life. Because what lies beyond it is a new form of creativity that makes everybody feel alive.
Well, I think that your visit with us today and your information is so powerful. And we're going to take a break right now and let our sponsors do their thing, and then we're going to come right back.
Publishing marketing package for authors. $1,500 value, save 40% now. Includes a 6-piece marketing kit of 250 bookmarks, 250 business cards, 250 postcards, 1 table banner, 1 table runner, and 50 download cards, plus book cover design, ebook creation, PDF setups, upload to Ingram Spark, scroll placement, video commercial, and interview on IBS. Plus much more. Email bourgeoismedia@look.com for details or bourgeoismedia.com.
Hi, I'm Mel Greenberg, author of Running with Our Eyes Closed, book 1 in the Empty Nested series. To the world, Samantha has the perfect life. 3 wonderful children, a loving husband, so she thought, and a life split between Dallas and Italy. When her youngest leaves for college, it all comes crashing down, forcing Samantha to re-examine everything. Over 7 days in one of the most romantic countries in the world, Samantha faces the past she thought she'd overcome and begins to redefine her role as a woman, a wife, and a mother.
What would you do if you had to put your life on hold to care for a loved one? Well, during COVID, almost all of us have been doing just that. I'm Charlotte Canyon, award-winning author, actress, and speaker. And my book, You Have to Laugh to Keep from Crying, shows you how you can revive, thrive, and survive with 4 golden rules. You have to love one another. You have to respect one another. You have to have patience with one another. And most of all, you've got to forgive one another. I'm Charlotte Canyon, and I approve this message.
Welcome to the Indie Beacon Show, where readers can discover great new indie authors. Find us on all major podcast systems and YouTube. Join Mary Ann Faremouth on today's show.
Welcome back to the Indie Beacon Show, a division of Authors Marketing International, an organization that supports and promotes authors all over the world. We have been chatting with the iconic, famous, such a human element to this gentleman, Michael Lutin, the astrologer to the stars. And
when you say icon, that makes me feel so old.
Oh, no, I don't mean it. I don't mean it that way. I mean it as just majestic person. Anyway, Michael, we've talked about, your thoughts about what's going on in the world. We've talked about your wonderful books and the projects that you have going forward. If people want to look you up, and I know, sir, that you're very, very busy and booked, but for maybe a gift, someone who wants to give someone for the holidays to get a reading or go to a lecture with you, how can people find out about what you have coming up and how to get more knowledge about all this from you? How do they do that?
Well, on Halloween morning, I have workshop in Mexico that you can read to. You can write to Astromonica at Yahoo. She's the person running it, Astromonica. And then I'm doing on November 20th an equal length workshop, whatever you call it, webinar, whatever you call it, and that that you have to write to San Diego Astrological Society. They know all the details now. And as far as getting in touch with me personally, I don't do gifts, so you have to do it for yourself because I don't really accept gifts. Doesn't work out as well between me and the client. So right. If you want, the thing is, you can reach me directly at officeofmichaellutin@gmail.com. It's all one word, officeofmichaellutin@gmail.com. And I am busy, but I'm not too busy to say hello and schedule a meeting, or just say hi. So thank you very much for having me on here. This is so generous of you. And when I say I never expected it, that's the truth.
Oh, well, you've always been.
So thank you so much. It's very generous of you to say the things that you said, and I'll try to live up to every one of them when I meet people.
I say them in all sincerity, and I feel you're very authentic and sincere. All right, now I'm going to ask you a question, and halfway in jest, but also I think being on the evening of the first game for the World Series, and we just talked about astrology being a predictive science. Can you predict who you think is going to win the World Series, Michael? No.
There are some years when it's more obvious. There are some years when you see what you usually watch the pitcher. But there are some, and I have a friend, Cynthia Withers, who was a sports analyst for astrology, and she had a tremendously high accuracy. And I think she did baseball, and she also did horse racing. So she was really very good. I'm not good at that. I'm not good at that at all. But I can tell you what happened with your mother when you were 5.
Yeah.
If that.
Well, I have to say, when I first met Michael, I had just lost somebody very close to me, and the lecture that I took from him was so insightful. And I've told him this before, and he told me some things that really helped me move forward in my life. But he was so caring and so understanding and so very intellectual, very smart, but had that genuineness, that caring feeling and attitude about him that I've never forgotten that. And I've shared it with him that he did something for me to help me.
That's really sweet. I love you. That was really sweet.
It was the truth. But anyway, this is Indie Beacon Show. I'm Mary Ann Faremouth, multi-genre author. We've been visiting with Michael Lutin, the wonderful astrologer to the stars in New York City. If you're at a place in your life where maybe you want a little more information, maybe you want to evaluate things, maybe you're at a turning point. There's no absolute science, and we are the captains of our own ship, as we all know. But if you want to be with someone or hear someone give you some encouragement, give you some direction, give you some insight, don't hesitate to talk to Michael Lutin. I think he's wonderful, and I'll never forget what he did for me. So again, thank you so much, Michael, for taking your time today.
Thank you. It's really sweet. Bless you.
And we are happy to have you on Indie Beacon, Authors Marketing International.
Thank you for watching or listening to the Indie Beacon Show, produced by Biala Bourgeois for the Authors Marketing International LLC. Copyright 2021. Voiceover by Biala Bourgeois. If you would like to be a sponsor of the show, please email us at authorsmarketing@outlook.com. If you would like to be on the show, please complete the form found on our website at indiebeacon.com. You may also watch previous year's shows on the website. Music is Frolic of Words, created for Indie Beacon